Good morning everyone, this is Diane. I'm going to be making some more tags in this video, inspired by Nancy with her set of however many tags she's going to do. She has done 16 and I thought she was going to do 18, but maybe she'll get to the last two, but she had to take a break from them. So with this video I'm going to be caught up. I'm going to be doing 13, 14, 15, and 16. And I have them prepped, and I'm actually doing 2 of each of the styles that she did, so I'm going to have, twice as many tags as what she ended up with after her videos. I did kind of get a little mixed up on numbers 13 and 14. So, first of all, I'll tell you that we start out with a tag that I made from File Folder. She used something else for her back, but I used File Folder and Vintage Ledger, and some of mine have vintage music on them. All of hers had music. So this is what we start with. I made my tags 3 1/4 by 6 1/4 and then just slanted the edges there. And I inked around them and I sewed around them. And what I do for these videos is I make one tag and then I leave the other one to make with you. So that's what I was doing. I was working on getting 4 tags done and 4 tags prepped. Her first video, number 13 of her tags, she used ribbon. And what she did was, her tags are Christmas tags. She had a really pretty blue and silver, the kind of ribbon that you would make a bow with for a wreath or to put around a package or something. And she cut it in half to make it narrower, and she did a little weaving right there. And she used a vintage photograph and a little vintage gift tag to decorate it. And a little piece of foil gift wrap made the tab. So I had pieces like that prepped. And then I had pieces prepped for the next tag, number 14. And after I sewed them, I prepped all the tags, inked around them and sewed around them, and then brought them over here to glue stuff on, and I glued my pieces for number 14 onto tag number 13. But it looks fine. I like it. This is just not what Nancy designed. So I'm going to skip that one for now. We'll do this one. I didn't weave this because I didn't want to cut this in half, and it's wide, so I just put on one strip of ribbon for this one. And here's the photograph. This is actually, I have this photograph in my collection, but this is a copy that I made. I have a whole bunch of printed photographs that I had put in my shop, and then I printed them off so I could show them to you when I listed them in my shop. And now I want to use some of those printed photos. And here's a little vintage gift tag with a car, so I thought that was cute to put with the young man. And then for the tab, she used foil gift wrap, which I don't have, and it wouldn't look very good with this style anyway. So I had this piece left over from my weekend collage, and I just cut a couple of the little flashcard type things out because these are school pictures. So I'm just going to fold that and make that a tab. So I took the other tab, the other card that was supposed to have been used with these elements. I added this young lady and this pretty gift tag, which is vintage. And it needed something else since it didn't have the ribbon, so I just added some lace across the top and my flashcard. So we're almost done with this tag already, after all that talking I did. Any of these tags that I'm making today could be used in my book readers' journals too. I'm emphasizing children's book illustrations and children's book pages. Should have didn't crease that top because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that with these pieces, but I decided I did. Okay. So these two are done, not exactly what I expected to do because I glued pieces on the wrong tag, but I like the way they look, and they kind of, maybe they go together better than it would have if I had had the yellow gingham woven ribbon. But I like them. So then the next tag, number 14, she had foliage at the top of the tag. I'm trying to recap my glue. But it was Christmassy. It was Christmas greens and some berries or something, and it looked really, really nice. And then down here, she had an image of a cake from a vintage magazine, little vintage, yeah, I think it was a magazine, but it was an illustration, not a photo. And she just added a label or something down there. It looked really, really nice. But since I'm not making a Christmas journal, I wanted to make it to go with my book reader's journal. I'm using children's book illustrations. So I found this one with a little girl feeding the rabbit. And she does look really good with the gingham ribbon. But these things, flowers and leaves, I cut out of a book page like that. I think it was a Mother Goose book. So all these pieces were cut out individually and then glued down like that. And then I cut her out of a different book, and this quote came out of something entirely different. It was another children's book, but it wasn't this one. Here is something you like, which is perfect as the girl is feeding the rabbit. So the other one I'm going to make is not going to have the stuff at the top. I didn't know what to put at the top. I'll probably just end up putting a hole and a ribbon in there because I didn't want to put foliage up there. This is the image I chose, this little girl on the rug looking at her toys. And then I have these other little toys that I fussy cut from, probably from the same book. And I'm just going to scatter them around on that empty space. I think I want my other glue with the fine tip. I don't think any of these tags should take too long today since I've prepped everything. There wasn't a lot of... The fussy cutting is what took the longest because I am adding a lot of fussy cut pieces to the tags today. So now I'll just arrange these how I want them. A little blue squirrel. There's a fire engine. And a tiny yellow duck. Tiny yellow duck. Yeah, I'll glue the truck so it's underneath her elbow. Or fire engine. Maybe. Maybe not, because I don't really want to hide the cow catcher or whatever that thing is called. Now, if it was the back end of the train, I would stick it under her arm, but I don't want to hide the front part. I think I'll just move it up there, move that down a little bit. Okay, we'll just go with that. Got to glue her elbow back down. I don't really want the two red things on the same side, so let me just switch those. Okay. I just thought that little girl admiring her toys was the cutest thing. I already have glue all over my hands from the work I've been doing on the other tags. Okay. You know what I think I will do is take a little strip of fabric and just sew that to the top for the tab. I think that would look cute on this. That's adorable. Moving on to number 15, she had some vintage Christmas or greeting cards. Yeah, hers were Christmas. And I have quite a few vintage greeting cards, so I was excited to get started on this project. So I cut this lovely little lady out of this card. So Nancy took I think it was a floral image from a card, and then she cut out the sentiment that was in the card. I cut out part of the sentiment. May the dreams you are dreaming come true for you. May this birthday begin a wonderful year. And then that part was, and then it said for you dear at the end. So I just cut out the parts I wanted to use that made sense. And I didn't make a notation on my paper from watching the video of what she used for the topper, and I don't know if she used anything, or maybe I just didn't write it down, but I just put a hole in it and used a reinforcement that I had colored pink and put some pink lace in it. And I inked around the sentiment, and then I also glued it to some pink cardstock scrap and cut it out again. But she is all one piece, these flowers, and this was all one piece. And I just think she's so pretty. I love that tag. The other one's going to have a completely different vibe. It's this funny little girl sitting on a stool talking on the phone, and the sentiment is hello. Oh, just want to say hello. What the card actually said was hello, just want to say congratulations. But I just changed it to say just want to say hello. Isn't she cute? So I have some red cardstock that I can glue those pieces to. I don't normally cut up my vintage cards, but this was a fun idea. Especially if there's some damage to them. I am not going to ink around the sentiment because these pieces are already vintage looking. They're not stark white. Today's Monday. Some of us from church went caroling last night. We have a list of people that haven't been coming out because of health or other reasons. Some of them are, like, I know one that is a nurse, she's a head nurse in a nursing home facility very close to here. And so she avoids going out in public so she doesn't bring anything into the nursing home. So she and her whole family stay away. But anyway, most of them are just elderly people with health issues and don't want to come out or can't come out. So we had 3 cars of people traveling around to some of these places. And then next week, they'll do it again to visit the rest of the people on the list. I don't know if I'll go next week. It just all depends. But I went yesterday. It was nice. One lady, she recently broke her leg for the 3rd time. And it's been a 2-year ordeal for her. So she had to have surgery. And she's in the nursing home for rehab. So we couldn't go in. We were hoping to be able to stand outside of her window and sing, but anyway, we were in the parking lot and we didn't know what window was hers, and I called her on her cell phone and she said she couldn't tell me what her window was because, you know, she's on the inside. She doesn't know where we are on the outside or anything. So she said, sing to me over the phone. So I put her on speakerphone and we all just kind of gathered around my phone and we sang 3 songs to her and she just loved it. She's such a sweet lady. I love her. Let's see if I have any. I have the brown ones. I can use the brown ones. These are just white reinforcements that I color with ink. I think I'll use the brown. Got glue on my fingers, and so some of the glue stuck to the sticky back reinforcement and came off. There. Guess if I want to clean glue off my fingers, I should just press tape to my fingers. It'll pull the glue right off. And I had this piece of sari silk that was already cut. So I'm going to just use that. There. Oh, I didn't sew around these 2. I can still do that. I'll just take the ties out and then sew around them. They're cute. I like these. And there's one more, and that was, she had some vintage gold stars, and I happen to have some vintage gold stars and vintage silver stars. So I got these, and they have a texture, like a little crosshatch texture on them. The silver ones might be a little bit bigger, or maybe not. Maybe it's just because these are all curled up and they look small. But these are smooth and shiny. I decided to go with the silver. And stars are nice to use for Christmas designs, but I didn't know what I was going to find in children's books that would go with stars. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with this project. But I started looking through my images that I had cut out of books, and lo and behold, this image is from a book of mythology, and there's a lady looking up at the stars. She has a peacock. So I just cut all the stuff off around her and added my own stars. But they were just kind of floating there, so I colored with a kind of a neutral goldish color to give them a patio to stand on. And then I thought, well, I need to color the sky now because it looks weird with just that at the bottom. So I used a little bit of blue and purple to make the night sky, and then I glued these stars on there and added a sheer ribbon. She used a gold mesh ribbon or fabric that she had. So for this one, I found another image that had stars in it. It was the owl and the pussycat. So this was, let's go here. Oh, it goes like that. So they're sailing on their pea green boat at night with the stars. So they are going to now have silver stars. I obviously have to cut some of this off. And I'll glue the stars down first, so some can be behind Mr. Owl. So I can take a break from the tags, like Nancy did. I have enough tags for my readers' journals, but I would like to make some ephemera with my printables from Lorna, the shabby chic wallpaper, because that's the design team project for these books. And I used some of the digital pages for the journal pages, but there's lots of pages left over, and I would like to make some pockets and I don't know what else with those papers. And now I made it look like a face. Those two stars were too symmetrical. What Nancy did was she actually used a ruler and carefully marked out a pattern. I think her stars were smaller than this. And she marked out a pattern so that they were spaced out equally and everything. She did not like it when she had that done. She kept calling it ugly. She was funny. You need to watch that because she was just funny, what she said. But she was going to see if she could make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. And she kept calling it a little piggy, the ugly pig or something. I don't know. She was funny. But she cut an image out of a Ideals magazine and added it to the bottom of her tag, and it looked beautiful, and then she was happy with it. So don't give up on something. I didn't think it was ugly anyway, Nancy. But she did. And she wouldn't have used it. She said if she couldn't redeem it, she would just throw it away. It was no big loss. But she did redeem it. So it doesn't hurt to try to fix something that you don't like. I'm making some of the stars hang off. Here, I cut some of them off because I just wanted them to take your eyes off the tag, like widen the horizon, I guess. These are fun tags. Thank you for doing that, Nancy, and inspiring me to get a bunch of tags made. And when I say Nancy, I don't know if I mentioned her YouTube is Wishes and Weeds. and her Etsy store is Wishes and Weeds Store. She does a lot of well, I don't know if they're tutorials so much as craft with me videos while she makes a journal, and then her journals are always really, really nice. So if you don't know Nancy from Wishes and Weeds, you should check out her videos, her YouTube channel, and her shop. She always has some nice digital, not digitals, she doesn't use digitals, vintage ephemera in her shop. Okay, so that's it. All the tags are done. But while I was looking for images for these tags, look what I found. That's just screaming to be put on a tag, isn't it? She's just the perfect size. So I'm going to have to come up with something for her, and she might go in my reader's journal. But let's just take a look at what we did. Those were the silver stars and the greeting cards that looked like they were cut out of a children's book, right? And the cards with the ribbon, the cards with the vintage photos and the gift tags, and the cards, the tags I mean, with children's book pages in place of, what did she use? Oh, vintage magazine images she used. I use vintage book images. So aren't these fun? I'm going to add something to the top of that, but otherwise they're done. And I'm so excited about them. Thank you again, Nancy, and thank you all for watching. I will be back again soon with another video, and I hope you have a creative day today. Bye-bye.